Xfinity Series at Daytona, the United Rentals 300, guys. This was a big, big race for lots of people. And first guy I'll talk about is Austin Hill. Austin Hill, he comes in and he is the odds-on favorite, according to the betting markets, to win. And not only to win, but this would have been his fourth season-opening Daytona race in a row to win. And actually the record was Dale Earnhardt. He won 5 races in the season-opening Daytona Xfinity race from 1990 to 1994. So I won't spoil it, but another guy was Connor Zilisch in the 88, his first race in the Xfinity Series as a full-time driver. And Carson Kvapil in, how do you pronounce that name? Kvapil. Carson Kvapil in that number 1 JRM. So 2 JRM teammates in that 88 and 1 rookies, and they are going to have big, big expectations as this year rolls on. So it's also the first race for the Haas factory team as they're running a full-time campaign in the 00 with Sheldon Creed and the 41 with Sam Mayer. He just moved from the JRM number 1, and now Kvapil's in it. So there's big expectations for Mayer and Creed. Also, I would want to talk about Christian Eckes in that 16 Colleague car, because he's moving up from McAnally Hilgeman in the 19 and now making that jump to the 16. I think that this guy, with the way that he was performing in the 19 truck, there are eyes on him to potentially make his way up into the Cup Series. I wouldn't be surprised if Colleague has their eyes on him to maybe move up into that Ty Dillon car, the number 10. I wouldn't see a problem with Eckes jumping into that, getting a shot. I think he deserves it. So Nick Sanchez moving up from the Truck Series in that number 48 Big Machine Racing Chevy, and that's Parker Kligerman's old ride. So Nick Sanchez in there, and William Sawalich, young guy, he's in the number 18 now. Also, keep an eye on Jesse Love in that number 2 RCR car in the for maybe a potential move up to Cup within the next couple of years. All right, guys, so let's get into the race. And it starts off, slow, and, the guys are taking it easy. But that doesn't last for long, because on lap 5, Brandon Jones wrecks out.
And he just got into the back of Brandon, and you see turned him into the outside wall. Got Carson Kvapil as well. A lot of the rookies got caught up.
So takes out Jones.
Yeah.
Kvapil wrecks. All right, so Kvapil wrecks. Now, I'm surprised because I thought Kvapil would be out at this point. But no, he actually, and there were a couple cars and one in this race a little bit later that were able to survive impacts and were able to stay in the race, specifically to that left rear. So maybe, I don't know, both seem to have gotten impacts on that left rear. We'll talk about it in a second. So Jones out. Again, this is a big year for him with that Menard sponsorship. Is he going to take that next step? And so the dominating guy, which is Austin Hill, as everyone expected, gets to the lead and is able to take stage 1.
Austin Hill is able to block it. We'll see if anyone can generate. Nick Sanchez,
pretty dominant.
He's got Anthony Alfredo back there. Can they make a run?
The RCR cars here.
Single file to chaos. Final lap, opening stage, and the green and white checkered flag delivered for Austin Hill.
Yeah, so Austin Hill and you could see Jesse Love on that outside lane. They really dominated a large portion of this race. As expected, in Cup, you expect the Penske guys to do that. But in the Xfinity Series, you're always going to expect the RCR guys to do something at Daytona. And they did not disappoint, at least at first. So RCR really dominates stage 1. Then on lap 44, Hill, he loses the lead, gets a power move back up to the lead. And then this happens on lap 58 as Hill continues to dominate. And so we're at the end of stage 2 now.
Kind of checking up right there as the draft.
So Hill's in the lead, and then watch third place here. Nick Sanchez hooks right into the wall.
48 into the wall.
Very similar to what we saw in the first race. As they're checking up, you can see all. I was just going to say.
So Sanchez, big expectations again in that 48, and right at the end of stage 2, there were only 2 laps to go on lap 58. Gets taken out, put into the wall. And that allows Austin Hill to win the stage 2. Now, Nick Sanchez, very disappointing after the race. He said, hey, that's just plate racing. And, it is what it is. He ran well all day, and I think it was a good performance. Look to Atlanta for that number 48 Big Machine to bounce back and hopefully have a good race. Big fan. So, Austin Hill ends up taking stage 2. But then on lap 81, if you guys were watching, something pretty bad happened. So Austin Hill during the lap 70s, lap 72 in specific, there were some radio calls that he was leading the race, but his car was leaking fluid. So he's leading the race, he's leaking fluid, and then on the radio he tells his teammate, his crew chief, he said, "Hey, I smell grease in the car. Something's happening here, but the car's running fine." All of a sudden, lap 81 comes, and they come to pit road, and one car doesn't leave pit road. And I was watching. I was right in the stands, and I was like, oh, shit. I was like, what the heck is going on with Austin Hill? He stays just a little bit longer and doesn't get out and loses the lead and ends up absolutely losing the race.
Got practice yesterday.
Not good.
One thing that you do in practice.
But I find it
So,
different in the draft.
Yeah. He's leading all race.
The draft, you add that mile per hour,
Ends up going in
and
was not able to come out. Austin Hill, poor guy, man, because I think I kind of wanted to see. At first, I'm like, okay, Austin Hill wins twice. Then he wins a third time at Daytona. I'm like, I'm sick of it. But then for some reason, I kind of like streaks. So then I'm like, okay, let's see him win a fourth, a fifth, and a sixth. Fuck it. So anyways, Austin Hill, unable to finish the race, but he dominated the whole thing. So I kind of give him the MVP of the race. But then this happens. And here is the highlight, or the low light, we can say, of this race, guys. This pissed me the off, okay?
Blue and white. Oh, he is going way too fast.
Not even close. Like, not even close to hitting this break. I don't know how he could have missed it by that far. That's unbelievable.
Pit road
so Chris Wright comes into pit road at 200 miles an hour, takes out
so bad for Bilicki too.
Bilicki, and I think he can go left or he can go right here.
A little bit of Ryan Truex, that right rear fender.
Yeah,
so
look at that damage.
Damage control on that as well, and that's not missing your braking.
Look at this. You can go left or
Maybe
right.
he lost brakes. Like, you don't know. Maybe he got on the brakes there.
Okay, so you can hear Kligerman and McMurray saying, "Hey, maybe they lost the brakes," and all that. And I'm like, okay, you lose the brakes, you could still turn the car, right? You could turn it left or you could turn it right into the grass or onto the apron, possibly. And I'm like, all right, fine. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But then I looked at the interview after the race and it was just bizarre. I mean, it was bizarre. I'll play Chris Wright's quote after the race.
Yeah, we just had some miscommunication coming to pit road there, and we wanted to get off track a little bit sooner than we did, but we had a little brake issue on that second stop. Tried to get to pit road or get off the track a little bit sooner, and a 2-second lull in communication is 2 football fields out there. So really hate it for the FMB guys, our guys, Chevy guys. Got it.
So it wasn't the brakes that caused it?
The brake issue was a part of it. I caused it.
Yeah. So okay. First, it's a communication issue. He said it was a brake issue. Then he said the brake issue was a part of it. And then he says, I caused it. So I just, look, guys, I know there's a lot of opinions of Chris Wright out there. He's been a part of a lot of crashes. But at some point, you kind of have to start, as you're moving up and you're a veteran of the sport, this can't happen. Like, I've never seen a driver. I was in the stands on the trioval, and all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, I see a car streaking in, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be an impact. And I see someone looking, and they're like, oh, shit. And then he just absolutely takes him out, and I was right there. And I'm like, who is this guy? And I'm like, looking it up, who's the number 5 car? And it's like, all right. And I'm just like, all right, man. So whatever. Anyways, we'll just move on. And so lap 112. So that was lap 86 that caution comes out. Green flag waves. They're racing. They keep racing to lap 112. Jesse Love, a big contender, out in the lead, blocking, doing a great job, to be honest. He is a really, really talented plate racer. And then on lap 112, we get this.
Watch Justin Allgaier in the 7 car in the middle of the pack. He turns Justin.
That's Justin Bonsignor. Out of shape, and we're under caution again.
Oh, Anthony Alfredo in it.
So, caution comes out mid-pack. Doesn't really take out contenders, I would say. I mean, technically these guys could have come back because of the way that the Xfinity Series is. You get a little bit more runs. But what it really does is it sets up a restart on lap 117 with 4 laps to go, I believe. Now, 4 laps to go, Jesse Love out front, and it doesn't last a long time, that green flag run, because that kind of big one just happened. But then another wreck happens. Let's take a look.
Good or bad for them. It's kind of broken
2
up.
laps
The
to go.
54 is gonna have a
Watch
run.
Connor Zilic in the
Jesse
middle.
Love getting down into turn
Getting
3.
up there, turned right into the wall, hard into the
Zilic
wall.
Caution
He was a
out.
contender.
A half a lap from the white flag, and we'll go to overtime.
So, overtime now imminent. Connor Zilic taken out and a few other contenders. I'll try to do a better job of getting the names for you guys in the next podcast. But I think the main guy to look out there was Connor Zilic because, of course, it's his first full-time race, Xfinity Series, and he was in contention for the win. He was running 3rd or 4th most of the night and kind of gutted to see that, but he will have more than enough opportunities in the future. So that brings out NASCAR overtime. We love it. 2 laps to go. Always exciting. And can we get through 2 laps? We weren't able to in the Truck Series. Let's see if we were able to in the NASCAR Xfinity Series overtime.
Creed, great, the great pusher. You see them wiggling right
So
there.
coming to
Taylor
1 lap
Gray
to
trying
go.
hang on to it.
Big
The wreck.
crash. And it happened right as Jesse Love was looking at the white flag. The question becomes, did the caution come out before Jesse Love got the white?
Okay, so I'm going to, Jesse Love, if you want to take a look, let's replay that clip real quick. Watch when the crash happens.
Creed, great, the great pusher.
Right?
You see them wiggling.
Caution
right there. Taylor
happens
Gray trying to hang on to
right
it.
now. Press the button now. Okay? The caution happens before he reaches it. So I've seen faster reactions happen. They weren't able to hit the caution light in time. And so technically they said Jesse Love took the white flag. And that means Jesse Love wins the race. Congratulations to him. Nothing against him or anything like that. I'm not discrediting the win. But it's just look, I'm struggling to see what the rule is. What's the rule? Is it entertainment? If it is, come out and say that. If it's driver safety, if it is, come out and say that. I don't want consistency. What I want is clarity with these rules. And I'm sure you guys want the same thing, guys. So, really quick before we wrap up the Xfinity segment, there was a great quote by Jordan Anderson. As I was walking out of the track, and I heard this. I heard it on the loudspeaker, which was so cool to hear. Like, this guy, Jordan Anderson, he finishes 7th. Take a look at that in the number 7th place. But he bought this car, the chassis, for pretty cheap off of Facebook Marketplace. He bought it. It was a 2012 chassis from Casey Mears. And he said he runs a team. He scrounged together whatever he could and put together a car. Comes to Daytona, ends up finishing 7th, and he loves the sport. Good for that guy, man. Like, honestly, good for that guy. And it just kind of sucks that, guys like that don't get too many more opportunities. We'll see him in the next super speedway races. But let's take a look at the finishing order. So Sam Mayer, his first race in that number 41 Haas factory team car, able to finish 2nd. Sheldon Creed in that number 00. So good debut for Haas factory team. 2nd and 3rd place. Carson Quapple in his first Xfinity Series full-time race, able to get the 4th position. Harrison Burton now in the Xfinity Series with a 6th place, and Eckes with a strong 12th place. Now, of course, let's go to the back of the field. Austin Hill, Nick Sanchez, of course, through, I guess, no fault of their own, finishing in the back of the field. Any more notable names? Obviously, Zilic, Sawalich in his first race with the 28th finish. And that kind of wraps up the notables. Now, Josh Bilicki, as you saw, he got taken out by Kris Wright there. Somehow comes back and finishes 14th. I'm really not sure how that happened. But all in all, I think it was a great race. Great opportunity seized by the Haas factory team and their drivers. And a great opportunity for Connor Zilic to come out of the gate and show what he's made of. And I think he did that. Also, I got to give credit where credit is due to Jesse Love. Comes out And, I know Austin Hill was the guy for the first part of the race, but Jesse Love, as soon as Austin Hill kind of, isn't able to continue, it was Jesse Love. I was there. I was watching it. It was him. So great race, guys. And all in all, good race at Daytona for the NASCAR Xfinity Series.